Hey out there, this is April. Let's see, what is today? Today is April 12th, 2019. And it is just about 2 minutes past 8 o'clock in the morning here in Northern California. And today I'll get into a whole lot of stuff as usual. But I kind of wanted to start by sharing a couple of poems that I came up with this past week. I have a daughter down in San Diego. She teaches English down there, and at a last I heard it was a charter school. She's helping adults get their not SAT, but the regular or the not the equivalent high school equivalency, but to get a regular high school diploma. But we last time we got together, we were talking about my style of writing, and she didn't approve of it much, and I can tend to make a sentence into what other people would make a paragraph, and so she didn't know what kind of writing I was doing. But recently I figured out that basically what I do is prose. And it's just, it is freewheeling, just write how you feel you want to write. And, just say what you have to say is basically my style. And as long as you can make a point somehow, then to me it's valid. I kind of think of what I write as commentary. It's their statements and thoughts that I feel compelled to share with the world because I do feel they're of value. And they're things that I don't hear from other people. That there a lot of times there are original thoughts that I feel like we all have access to, but not very many people seem to value seeking access. In other words, utilizing the access that you have to write, to express yourself, to communicate. And, I find it very, what's the term? It's very healthy. It's getting things off your chest and feeling that need we all have to fight the good fight, to be good, decent people, upright people that care about their fellow human being and that want to progress, that want to make this world a better place. And we all have something to share. We all have something to give. And if we're not doing that in some way, some capacity, on some level, some basis, we're not ever going to find happiness. We're never going to be satisfied or gratified in our lives. We have to share the good things that are put upon our heart and upon our mind and our spirit and our soul and our essence, our being. We have to share good things with other people if we want to get more. This is the way the whole thing works. God built defaults into us. He built fail-safes into us to make sure that we were either serving Him of our own free will and accord, loving Him, caring about what His desires are, her desires, their desires, the desires of our owner, the Almighty Creator God, basically, who we owe everything to, all loyalty, all allegiance, only to our owner. I mean, it's only logical. It's only reasonable. It makes perfect sense that our very existence is to be attributed and honor the Creator for every breath we breathe, every good thing that's ever happened to us or will happen to us today or in the future possibly. And not to blame for anything bad that's ever happened to us or will happen to us today possibly or in the future. that God is the best parent that we could ever imagine, and we have to honor God for that reason, and give God glory for everything good. It's as simple as that. And we have to work for the causes that God wants us to work for. And we have to have values that are in line with his values, namely human beings. That is the souls of men, of women, our souls. This is what he's after. This is what God cares about more than anything else. It's us. And we need to be on the same page. We need to be seeing eye to eye. And we have to be willing to see through divine eyes. And if we attempt to do that, we will be able to do it. It's that simple. That seeing that that's a very good thing you're seeking, and God does not withhold truly good things from us, then you will be endowed with the same ability as anybody else to understand these things, because they're simple. God has to be very logical and very open, very transparent, very easily understood, and that is the truth about God and his will for us. His will for us is just like the best parent or even the crappiest parent. It's nothing but good for us. It's what makes sense. And when we see that and we see the contrast, we see the departure from that reality in the so-called reality that's shoved down our throats from birth, we're told, you don't have a choice. This is just the way it is. This is your reality. And we'll let you be free selectively in this arena or over here in this area. But when it comes down to being absolutely free, well, no, that's just a pipe dream. No, that's wishful thinking, and you're a fool to believe that's possible. You're an idealist, and I beg to differ strongly with that. And I believe that God begs to differ strongly with that. That really good is stronger than bad, and right is stronger than wrong, and light is stronger than darkness, and truth is stronger than lies, and God is stronger than evil, basically is what it comes down to. And this is why we can all be very certain that eventually the good guy is going to win this fight, this good fight for freedom, absolute freedom. You see, we're not allowed to be free when it comes to money. This is embedded. We're imbued with this understanding from birth. This is our reality, and it's nothing that we have any choice over. We're not free. Anybody that believes they're free because they were born in America is pitiably delusional. Okay, as long as you've got a cost of living that you are forced to pay, you're not free. You have a burden. You have a price to pay to continue to live, to continue to exist. It's as simple and cut and dry as that. So when you understand that, you understand the imperative nature of helping others to understand what freedom really means. That freedom is an absolute term. There's no equivocation in that word. It's a pure word. Free is free. It's absolute. You understand? If you go to the store and you say, well, how much is this item? And they tell you, it's free. Today we're giving this item away. You see, it can't get any better than that unless they were paying you, and then that would be held suspiciously, right? You say, okay, free I can understand as some kind of a lost leader or something, right? You're giving it away to, it's really going to work out in your favor because you're going to come in and buy other stuff because it put a good taste in your mouth, right? It was free. And you like getting stuff for free. So you did business at that store because somebody did something for you. They gave you something, and there was no price, no cost, no burden to you. So it was a beautiful and pure thing, and it was absolute. No ifs, ands, or buts, no equivocation, no strings attached. It was unconditional, right? So when it comes to understanding freedom, that's what it means. It means that there's no cost, there's no burden, there's no price to be paid. That you and only you decide how you serve God and man. It's nobody's decision but your own. Okay, nobody's got any business making that decision for you. Yet we all go along to get along. We go along with the program of saying, hey, it's just the way it is. Capitulate, acquiesce, comply, conform, uh, take the path of least resistance. Have a modicum of common sense. Be pragmatic, be practical, right? These are things that are embedded in our psyche. Of course, you accept things on their face because only a fool would buck the system. When you know how powerful the system is, the monetary, financial, economic system of the world, which again is all about money. So to understand the connection, the nexus between spiritualism in terms of understanding the higher, loftier values, the godly ones of the teachings in the Bible and other holy teachings. I'm not going to use the term religious because it's got a negative overtone connotation. Okay, I'm not a particularly religious person. This is a very tricky word, okay, because they tried to label Jesus religious, okay, and he shunned it. He said, hey, you know what, you hypocrites, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to pigeonhole me. You're trying to stereotype me. Because these religious leaders that were filled with pomp and circumstance, and they loved to have the fancy seats in the synagogues, as Jesus told, and they were big fat hypocrites. They were rubbing elbows with the legalists, those that were making the laws, and they were into the politics of the thing, so they were rubbing elbows with the kings and the rulers, and so they liked the authority and the power. These are power-hungry freaks. They're abnormal. They're not godly people. So these are the people that rule, and Jesus knew that. So when they called him religious, he said, "No. What is religion?" He said, "What? It's something good, but what you people are involved in is something bad. Religion is taking care of widows and orphans in their distress. Okay, but what you're trying to tell me is I got to be like you because you're the religious leaders." So he shirked that label and said, no, you're not going to do that to me. So I have a difficult time using the term religious. I don't consider myself a particularly religious man, even when and if I go to church, choose to go to church, okay, then that's my prerogative. But that doesn't, to me, make me religious. That makes me just feeling like I want to be around other believers. For whatever reason, God puts on my heart to want to be around other believers, to praise the Lord openly and, without any, unabashedly, and around people that also will just want to do that. It's a beautiful thing, singing a hymn in a congregation. There's nothing wrong with it being around those kind of. It's very comforting. It's nice to know people like that exist. People that would give you the shirt off their back. Wonderful human beings are in churches. There's just no doubt about it. But anyhow, the point I'm trying to make here is you understand the connection, the correlation between, understanding the necessity to understand rudimentary, basic, fundamental economic principles so you know the difference between being duped and not being duped. And right now, we're all being duped, okay? And this is not a left, right, liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, socialist, capitalist thing. That's what they want you to believe. Remember, who are they? They are evil, ungodly men at the top of this scheme, like at the top of the pyramid of power. And they control things like the issuance of currency, the money, okay, the money, remember. Untold, vast, wanton power, unbridled, unmitigated power that these people possess, okay? And so what makes this an almost, it's a behemoth of power, almost unapproachable in terms of even imagining it could ever be thrown down, because it has the power of the political means of authorizing, validating whatever the money printing class says, okay? So hence you've got this national debt. Okay, this has been going on for decades in America. America hasn't had true capitalism since they assassinated JFK. Okay, true capitalism is a big fat threat to the establishmentarians that want to keep people oppressed. Okay, yes, slavery has slowly been legitimized, legalized in America, right under people's noses. They don't even recognize it. That's how good these people are. Remember, these are evil geniuses. These are mad scientists. They use diabolism. That's their religions. Okay, this is how they operate. They're sinister. They're nefarious. They're cunning. This is they're crafty, and they're sorcerer-like. I mean, it's almost like magic the way that they can pull the wool over our eyes and trick us and deceive